Please be seated. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Shalitsi Marwala, to our DVCs, to our Registrar, to members of the MEC, to members of Senate, to members of the academic community, to the award winners for tonight, to past award winners, to family and friends who have made themselves available to attend this function. Every now and then in the busy lives of universities, we pause to recognize excellence. This is the Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Awards, and these awards come at the culmination of the year, and it comes as a recognition of excellence, which is one of the strategic objectives of this university, striving for excellence. We are, as a university, a whole, but we are made up of many parts. And some of these parts have excelled, and some of these parts will be rewarded tonight. So I welcome all of you. In keeping with our university's high technology spirit, if I can call it that, we are being live streamed on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. So please feel free to inform those who wish to watch it. And you can, of course, press the replay button and watch it at your leisure again. So thank you very much for making yourselves available. I'm now going to begin with the official proceedings of the day. And I will call upon Professor Shalitsi Marwala.
Thank you very much. For the moment, I thought it was Engineer Parek. I was saying that coup d'etats happen in many forms.
We have to protect you.
Sanwonan, Dumelang, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to welcome our Ds and their families. It seems when Professor Sorab Sina was coming here, he rushed to one of the family members because he thought she was actually the award winner.
It was him, by the way.
Oh, it was him. And I say, family always look alike, so you can be forgiven. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of the members of the ELG who are here. This is one of the most exciting awards that I have to give over the years. Also, I see that the deputy president of the convocation is also here. Welcome, sir, to this event. It is a time-honored tradition for us to come together to celebrate our staff and faculty who have made great strides in teaching, research, and innovation. As a university, we strive for excellence, and the awards that we hand out tonight are indeed a testament to your role in making that a reality. As the physicist William Pollard once put it, and I quote, "Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient for tomorrow," close quote. It obviously has not been an easy road for you. Being an achiever is not an easy road. over the last year as a university, we have also entered a new era. With that, of course, comes challenges. Universities are the training ground for new knowledge. And we derive new knowledge. By the way, it's a very good sound. We derive new knowledge through research. When I think of the concept of new knowledge, I am reminded of a quotation from one of Chinese leaders, Deng Xiaoping, seeking truth from facts. And I think the art of generating new knowledge is really about seeking truth from facts. And also for leading in the field in terms of knowledge development, for producing graduates. I don't like the concept of producing graduates, because our aim is not to produce graduates. Our aim is to educate people, so that at the end of the day, what they have is not just the certificate that is lying on their walls, but is the knowledge that they have gained through education. And of course, the issue of innovation. Innovation should not be taken for granted. Innovation is the bedrock of economic activity. If we do not innovate, we shall be left behind. All these things, knowledge generation, teaching and learning, innovation, are supposed to contribute meaningfully towards the positive change in our society, but also in the rest of the world. Of course, we are living in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. I was told I should not speak about the fourth industrial revolution, but it is very important. And the university has to adapt itself so that it is at the fore, but not at the back of this revolution that is happening in front of us. One of the winners here, Professor Muloi, just completed a few months ago a course on artificial intelligence at MIT, and now is completing a course on blockchain from MIT too. Of course, this is quite important, because the era of the past were such that we used to think we will learn once and we will apply that knowledge for the rest of our lives. In this new era that we find ourselves, and for us to succeed, we are supposed to learn, unlearn, relearn, and learn again. And the reason for that is because the environment in which we operate is changing so quickly that knowledge that was useful just a few years back is no longer useful. So of course, for us to be able to adapt, we should put at the crux of our being as a university the DNA of innovation. And for the awardees who are here, you have all risen to the seemingly impossible challenge of staying ahead in your field. And of course, for us, staying ahead is very, very important, because the University of Johannesburg is about reimagining the future. the concept of reimagining something that is coming in the future actually does not make any philosophical sense. And the reason for us to basically put this new time machine where the past, the present, and the future are intertwined is because this is the world in which we live in. Things that were useful in the past probably will be useful in the future in another dimension or in another form. Of course, I'm struck by all of your accomplishment, not just as individuals, but as faculties where you come from, as staff members, and I think you can give yourself a round of applause. As an example, Dr. Ade Abijola and Dr. Marius Waite's Learn SUN app has been successful in direct selling, work-integrated learning project which allows students to use their smartphones to access learning guides, workshop dates, and topics or opportunities and receive notifications. So, in other words, apps are not only objects of Silicon Valley, they are also objects of the University of Johannesburg. A significant feat. This is a significant feat when you consider that device ownership among students was 1% higher this year compared to 2018, with 99% of our students reporting that they own at least one of the following devices: a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop, or a desktop. And it is important for our students to be able to use the latest tools that are available at their disposal. It is important for our students to know how those tools actually work. Because as a country, for us to increase our economic productivity, we have to move away from just being consumers of those goods and services, but also producers. Of course, this is the kind of innovation that the University of Johannesburg deserve and that our society actually need. With this advent of the fourth industrial revolution, we also had to learn how to teach our students differently. For those of us who are not young, like myself, and especially Professor Andre Swart, in the past, you would come to the classroom and then you will listen to a professor speaking. And there was not much interaction. But in an innovative ecosystem that we live in, questioning is the most important part of learning. Albert Einstein put it very well when he said, and I quote, "The measure of how clever you are is not by how many questions you can answer, but how many questions you can pose." Very, very important. It gets you thinking. Because we have all these examinations in where we are much more interested in how well you can answer questions. And we forget that the era in which we live in, the ability to ask the correct questions is actually what we need. Here at the University of Johannesburg, I have been particularly impressed by teachers such as Andrew Craig, who believes that students must become, and I quote, mathematically minded, close quote, to problem solve in a range of situations. And then we say they have to be mathematically minded. We are not saying they should be able to do sophisticated tensor calculus. We are not saying that they should be able to do complicated, complex analysis. What we are saying is they must have that logical mindset. The logical mindset of being able to identify causes and effects, of being able to see the difference between correlation and causality. Very, very important. And this, of course, enables our students to adapt to the rapidly changing workforce. According to the World Economic Forum, it is envisaged that the demand shall be for professionals who blend the science and technology with human and social sciences. When I was growing up, I never realized that there was a linkage between linguistics and engineering. But if you are going to create an app that is going to translate from one language to another, which is what is happening, and which is what is supposed to happen more here in our continent, because many of our languages are excluded, then the concept of grammar is very, very important. In fact, if there is a missing link in any of the devices that we have currently, is that they do not understand grammar. They understand words, not grammar. Elsewhere, teachers like Dr. Jacqueline Batchelor have adopted innovative classroom practice, curriculum development, the creative use of technology in combination with related publications and numerous national and international projects in keeping with the changes in higher education and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And of course, this idea of the Fourth Industrial Revolution is attracting quite a great deal of attention. The president, whom I just met last week, is expecting a report, which I wrote quite a bit of it, and we are going to make 5 core recommendations that can be implemented. One of those recommendations is to implement the AI, to create an AI, National AI Institute. You actually got it fresh from the press. So I leave you with the words of Gary Hamel, who said, and I quote, "Innovation is the only insurance against irrelevance." Well done to all of you. You are a role model to many of our staff here and our students, but most importantly, to the communities at large in South Africa and beyond. Ngiyabonga, kiyalibuwa, bayadanki.
Thank you, Professor Marwala. We're going to begin with the awards, and I will now call upon the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Professor Anjana Parekh, to award in 2 categories, Most Promising Young Teacher of the Year and Teacher Excellence.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to observe all protocol, but I'm also going to just follow up on what the Vice-Chancellor so eloquently remarked in his introductory comments. And the one thing that resonated with me is what he said, is that the role of the university is not to produce graduates, but it is to educate the young minds. But in order to educate, you need very good and talented educators. And what we are showcasing today in the 4 awards we're going to be bestowing in the area of teaching and learning are the best and brightest of the educators, not just at the University of Johannesburg, but they can compete and hold themselves both on the national and global stage. That's how talented they are. Each and every one of these awardees that we are recognizing today demonstrates an absolute commitment, passion, and a wonder for education. They inspire students, they motivate students, and they encourage students to want to know more. And I think if all of us, when we look back at our own university education, it's not the knowledge that has stayed with us, but it's about the teacher who inspired us, who stood, and we always remembered that wonderful human being who made it all possible for us to develop even further. And those are the kind of educators we have produced and we are going to be recognizing today. Just by way of background, we have 50,000 students. So to be an educator, to deal with 50,000 students is a huge challenge and demand. We also have over 1,300 permanent academic and fixed-term staff. So 4 of you that are being recognized today have competed with 1,300 academic staff. So just to put things into context. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have 4 awards in the realm of teaching and learning we are recognizing today. 2 of them for the most promising young teacher of the year, and 2 of them for the Teacher Excellence Award. The first of these awards goes to Dr. Andrew Craig from the Faculty of Science. Dr. Craig has been recognized as the Young Teacher of the Year for 2019. I'm going to read out the citation. There are not many teachers who have the insight, skills, and imagination to convince skeptical first-year students that mathematics is not as difficult as they believe, and moreover, that it can be enjoyable and fun. I wish, Dr. Craig, you were one of my teachers at school. Dr. Andrew Craig, however, is a rare exception. As a teacher of first-year mathematics, he has, over the past few years, through his passion and commitment, managed to instill confidence in his students, to inspire them to work hard and to enjoy their success. He does this first by discovering as much as he can about his students' life experience. For him, learning is a unique and personal process, and it is crucial to get to know each student in order to offer a totally enabling learning experience where students' individual situations and needs are recognized and valued. To facilitate an enhanced learning experience, Dr. Craig has learnt isiZulu so that he can understand and contend with some of the translation difficulties facing many students. He believes that students must become mathematically minded, which means that they develop the mental agility and flexibility to problem solve in a range of situations. His classes offer opportunities for students to reflect, to discuss, as well as repeatedly practice. Importantly, he's acutely aware of student diversity and to cater for all of his students. In that regard, he provides them with access to the Khan Academy, which offers online, self-paced learning and assessment opportunities. This is an innovative practice that has been showcased widely and has had demonstrable success. Dr. Craig's students recognize his exceptional ability and commitment to their success. One commented that he is the one who gave me an interest in maths. He really came through for me. While another noted, and I quote, he doesn't simply teach maths, he makes it accessible and exciting. He's appreciated by all his students as someone who enriches us with knowledge and who's a great benefit to the mathematics department. There are many students who love to experience the excitement of Dr. Craig's classroom. He offers students an inspiring learning experience while inculcating a love for maths. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in calling upon Dr. Craig and to give him a round of applause, and for the Vice-Chancellor to come forward. Okay, congratulations. Vice-Chancellor will give you.
Thank you very much.
And there's photograph. A photograph. Oh, I will give you the amount.
To the front of the podium.
Maybe he should be in the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, the actual award for this young promising teacher is the sum of 25,000 rands, which can be used to further his own teaching commitments and passion. And so it goes straight to you to use the way you want to support your research innovation. The second most promising Young Teacher of the Year award goes to Dr. Marius van Staden from the Faculty of Law. Unfortunately and regrettably, Dr. van Staden could not join us today. He's taken ill and in fact is in hospital. He developed pneumonia and is quite ill. But we are going to ask, and I'm going to call upon the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Mpedi, to receive the award on behalf of Dr. van Staden, and also we hope that he will recover soon to enjoy the award. And I'm going to call upon the Vice-Chancellor to hand over the award to the Dean on behalf for which you will
I will make sure he gets
accept
it.
on behalf of Mr. van Staden.
Actually, I sent him a WhatsApp and he's watching, but he's complaining about the Wi-Fi at the hospital. Maybe he's watching us.
I can read the citation, and so let me read. I will read the citation, and particularly if Dr. van Staden is watching from the hospital. Okay. Just to read just a bit about why the panel that reviewed this and recommended the award to the Vice-Chancellor was so impressed, is that teaching of law, traditionally done via the Socrates method, is often seen as a rather taxing task for students who are required to learn about, remember, and reproduce numerous legal facts, principles, and cases. 21st century students, however, need a much more vibrant, relevant, and applied pedagogy, and this is a challenge that Dr. Marius van Staden has embraced with characteristic enthusiasm, insight, and dedication. He believes that excellent teaching needs a mix of strong, leading-edge, technology-driven teaching techniques, and nothing illustrates this better than the video he produced to highlight the key principles of his personal teaching philosophy. In this lively and compelling production, he critiques the Socrates method, while at the same time highlighting the needs of today's students, which includes practical experience, constant links to real-world situations, and a focus on future scenarios rather than past practices. He insists that carefully selected technological tools can enhance the development of learning tasks as well as learning materials, and he thrives on the ongoing challenge of developing these in new and innovative ways. Dr. van Staden's peer and student evaluations are superb, confirming that he is highly respected and applauded by his colleagues and described by students as inspiring, passionate, engaging, and fun. He is recognized as a teacher who allows us to voice our opinions and doesn't shut down dissenting voices. These comments and more reflect a highly appreciated and brilliant teacher with this rare student complement capturing the views of many. I feel sorry for anyone who has not been taught by him. There is no doubt that Dr. Maurice van Staden has displayed out-of-the-box teaching and has been recognized for his innovative teaching style and practices. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping Dr. van Staden is watching. Please let's give him a round of applause. The next category of the Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Awards is for teacher excellence. And the awardees of this illustrious award from the Vice-Chancellor gets the sum of 150,000 over a 3-year period, part of which will again be devoted towards furthering their research excitement, innovation, and drive. The first of these Teaching Excellence Award is to Dr. Jacqueline Batchelor from the Faculty of Education. Dr. Jacqueline Batchelor has long been recognized at UJ as an exceptional and inspiring teacher. But when an international expert, having observed her in the classroom, says, and I quote, "I've watched hundreds of teachers in a wide range of contexts, and I can honestly say that this was the most effective piece of teaching about a sensitive topic that I've ever seen. We know with great certainty that she has a truly unique and rare gift. It is unique because of a critical combination and blend of characteristics. She has the ability to be innovative and bold, to challenge long-held assumptions, while at the same time offering scholarly, empathetic, and constructive insights that enables both students and staff to reimagine their current beliefs and practices. This crucial combination of talents enables her to achieve her primary aim, which she says is, and I quote, to work towards resourcing and empowering the immediate and wider educational community in the design, development, and implementation of teaching and learning solutions mediated through the use of various learning technologies," end quote. She played a central role in the Vodacom project, Learning with Vodacom initiatives, which involves teachers and learners from schools in a rural area of South Africa. Through her pedagogy of capacitation, Dr. Batchelor aims to improve the quality of education by reaching people at all levels of the education system, offering leadership that is crucially inclusive of all voices, where people are working as a team in real-world situations towards a common vision. Innovative classroom practice, curriculum development, the creative use of technology, in combination with related publications and numerous national and international projects, all come together in her remarkable contribution to teaching and learning at UJ and further afield. Importantly, as all her excellent evaluations attest, her colleagues and her students are the first to acknowledge this. Part of her journey discovering the frontiers of blended learning was to design, facilitate, and at the same time learn while using theoretical frameworks to inform her teaching process. Dr. Batchelor has done groundbreaking work with both nationally and internationally, collaborating with UNICEF, Microsoft, and Vodacom to develop a short learning program, managing and leading with digital technologies, which has been rolled out. As the UNICEF representative stated, and I quote, "It would not have been as successful without the level of commitment, passion, dedication, and humility that she has shown right to the very end," end quote. There's passion and excitement generated through her teaching excellence and reflective research, while ensuring empowerment of fellow faculty members and the academic community at large. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree with me that Dr. Batchelor is a worthy recipient of the 2019 Teaching Excellence Award. Welcome, Vice-Chancellor. very much. Well done. The second of the two Teaching Excellence Award for 2019 goes to Professor Sune van Zom. I've had so many different pronunciations of your first name, from Soon to Sune, and everybody tells me it, but you told me it's Sune, so I'm going to stick with Sune. From the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. And before I read Professor van Zom's laudatio, I just want to say that I am deeply, deeply impressed on an annual basis at the number of good teachers we are getting from engineering. Often you think that engineers cannot teach, but they're increasingly impressing us with their ability to actually teach, and that's wonderful. So I'm very pleased.
By the way, I'm an engineer.
I know. Many teachers believe that the best way for students to learn is by applying their knowledge in real-world situations. There are very few, however, who have the depth of knowledge to translate this belief into the kind of pedagogical brilliance that characterizes the work of Professor Sune van Zoms. The key to her widely recognized success is that after many years of reading and research, she understands the learning process itself. She knows why students learn better through engagement and application. She also knows how to develop materials and activities that will enhance and promote their learning. With this understanding of the learning process at the heart of her teaching philosophy, Professor van Zom creates an active learning environment for engineering students, one which allows them to learn by doing and collaborating, where they are fully engaged and highly motivated. She begins by utilizing students' prior knowledge by choosing what she calls familiar and inclusive examples and content, where everyday items like kettles and light circuits are used to teach basic system engineering principles. From here, more senior students become directly involved in an astonishing range of community-based projects where they experience real-life situations. For example, by designing and installing solar-powered lights in the school, by improving aspects of a Shell eco-marathon car, by creating small devices or by creating smart devices to solve everyday problems, and most notably through the highly acclaimed Kwakwani project, by designing solar-powered lights for a small and remote community. Her projects have enjoyed wide media coverage, received public acclaim, and won several prestigious awards. She is increasingly recognized as an inspirational ambassador for UJ. It is the students' responses, however, which reflect the exceptional contribution she is making to engineering education in South Africa. By connecting her students to lived experience, she is widely acknowledged by them as the best, a brilliant lecturer, and as a teacher who makes one fall in love with the surroundings. Lovely phrase. Professor Som is an extraordinary teacher in every respect, with an uncanny ability to understand, to innovate, and most importantly, to engage, motivate, and inspire the students. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in applauding Professor van Zom as being the worthy recipient of the 2019 Teacher Excellence Award.
Is your father Professor Van Zom
Yes.
Congratulations to all our winners. Thank you.
Congratulations. I now call upon the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research and Internationalization, Professor Sinha, to award the awardees in the categories for research.
Great, thank you very much. I want to also contextualize a bit, because when Professor Parek was mentioning about Professor von Solms, I must say that I know her recruiter. So of course, always very nice to see the linkages. I must say that this year's Research and Innovation and Awards was quite special. We had a really heightened number of applicants. I must congratulate all the various recipients. But when Professor Marwala said that, when I went out and I thanked some of the families, it is very important, because you know I come back to you in December during your holidays, and I ask you for, because I care, we ask you particularly the promising researcher awards about your NRF applications and those good things. I have to in advance thank the families, because I will be there, and I know that you will be very responsive to that. The Research and Innovation Awards has a holistic approach. We also look at aspects of contribution to supervision, and so there is also an embedded component when it comes to teaching. We do see teaching as research-led, and research that matters, and research that makes impact. And that impact can also be made through innovation. So it is that combined nexus, and it is that we award today through our recipients. So with those words, I would like to firstly start with our most promising young researcher of the year, Dr. Sherry Kruger, from the Faculty of Health Sciences. Dr. Kruger is a researcher in the Laser Research Center, Faculty of Health Sciences. Her niche areas include photodiagnosis and photodynamic therapy, looking at various photosynthetic, chemotherapeutic agents and drugs that target, detect, identify, and kill cancer cells. She has successfully supervised 2 master's graduates who graduated with distinction, and is currently supervising 4 postgraduate students, 2 masters and 2 doctoral students, and mentoring a postdoctoral fellow. Over the past 4 years, she has co-authored 10 internationally peer-reviewed articles in high-impact open access journals, a book chapter, and 2 conference proceedings, which are all subsidy-bearing outputs. Dr. Kruger is a reviewer of 10 international journals, and at the time of review of her nomination had a Scopus H-index of 6 and a Google Scholar of H-index of 7. She has been invited to present her research at international conferences, and most recently as a guest speaker at the 17th International Photodynamic Association World Congress in Boston in June 2019. Dr. Kruger has successfully competed for external research grant funding with the recent awards of Cancer and NRF Tutuka grants to support her cancer research, which is focused on the development of multi-component nanoparticle-based systems as efficient, specific, and targeted drug delivery systems for the primary photodynamic treatment and early diagnosis of colorectal, melanoma, and lung cancer, which followed up secondary cannabidiol treatment, I suspect I didn't pronounce that correctly, for enhanced treatment outcomes. Within the Faculty of Health Sciences, she lectures immunology to undergraduate students, as well as serves on both higher degrees and research ethics committee as a member. In addition, she is also actively partaking in the formation of the Anti-Plagiarism Advisory Committee in the Faculty of Health Sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, join your hands in applauding Dr. Sherry Kruger. And I simultaneously invite both the Vice-Chancellor and Dr. Kruger. Congratulations, Dr. on these awards.
Thank you.
Hold it for you.
So much.
Our next award recipient, also for Most Promising Young Researcher of the Year, is Professor Tankiso Maloyi. Professor Maloyi is from the College of Business and Economics, specifically from the School of Accounting. Professor Maloyi is a full professor in the Department of Accountancy in the School of Accounting in the College of Business and Economics. He has authored 3 book chapters in print and 18 journal articles in the current and past year, and has a Google H index of 6. He has supervised 2 doctoral students to completion and is currently supervisor or co-supervisor of 11 doctoral students. He has significantly contributed to the growth of the accounting research footprint in South Africa. He has been instrumental in facilitating the appointment of postdoctoral research fellows and research associates and the targeted mentorship program for fellow academics. As a result, the research output in the School of Accounting has significantly grown in recent years. In promoting an accounting research network in Africa and globally, collaborative projects have been established with the University of Lagos in Nigeria, Pontificia University in Católica in Sao Paulo in Brazil. In addition, Professor Maloyi was appointed as a visiting scholar at Fort Hays State University in the United States this year. He has also played a leading role in the establishment of a new journal, the African Journal of Corporate Governance Research, now serving as editor-in-chief, as well as the International Conference in Accounting and Business, where he has served as its inaugural conference chair. In recognition of his academic citizenship and leadership contributions, Professor Maloyi has received several industry awards for his research on risk management in the public sector. He was invited to collaborate with the National Treasury of South Africa, and it was under his leadership that the team produced 2 reports on risk management at South African public institutions. He was recently appointed to the Council of Southwest Gauteng Technical and Vocational Education and Training College, and has also secured the ETDP CETA Research Chair on the 4th Industrial Revolution skills to the value of 2.53 million rands. That is for this year, and the award continues like that in the years to come. Let me invite Professor Maloyi to the podium, and thanks for your after this. And Professor Maloyi, you can come in the center. And congratulations. So the Vice-Chancellor was whispering in my ears. He said, "You must announce the amount of the award." And I will do so. I know you're waiting for it. The amount in this case for the most promising for each candidate is 250,000 rands. It's spread over 5 years. It is split 50-50, which means that the bulk of it, I hope it would be the bulk of it. When it's 50-50, it's not guaranteed. I realize it's not guaranteed, but you could help us with it, is spent on research. However, there is a caveat. If you leave the university, the award leaves you. So I must say that. I'm not saying that there's anything like that, but just in the unlikely event that something like that happens. But congratulations on the award and all the best for the research that's to come. I now have the honor of introducing the Outstanding Researcher of the Year, Professor Reino Meiboom, from the Faculty of Science. Professor Meiboom is an NRF B-rated, internationally recognized catalysis researcher and the head of the Department of Chemical Sciences at, it's written as APK, of course it's a combined department across campuses. He also leads the UJ Research Center for Synthesis and Catalysis and has to date published 138 articles in high-impact journals with UJ affiliation out of 184 and 2 book chapters. His research bibliometric profile for the recent 5-year period reveals that he has a Scopus H index of 19 with 76 authored or co-authored publications, and of these, 73 are DHET accredited publications. As a supervisor, Professor Meiboom has mentored 12 doctoral and 22 master's graduates, 6 with distinction, and played a key role in adding to the university's illustrious honorary doctorate awardees, another Nobel laureate with the conferral of the degree to Professor Faringa in April this year. In recognition of his outstanding international contribution to the field of chemistry and scientific community, Professor Faringa was the recipient of the 2016 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the design of synthesis of molecular machines and a former lecturer of Professor Meiboom. Now, I must tell you that the Vice-Chancellor keeps asking me about our Nobel Award recipients. So I do, have expectations. As an inventor, no small expectation there. As an inventor, Professor Meiboom has contributed to growing UJ's intellectual property portfolio. He is co-inventor of a series of exciting patents that protect the use of silver anti-cancer compounds as anti-cancer and antibacterial agents that are safe and not toxic for healthy normal cells. Publications related to this work have attracted media attention, and the subject has been featured on a number of media platforms, including the Carte Blanche television program in 2018. He was one of the recipients of the 2019 Department of Science and Technology, which is now Science and Innovation, National Intellectual Property Management Office as the Top IP Creator Award. In addition to official recognition by the Minister of Science and Technology, this was before the change of the ministry, the award included a financial contribution towards further development and or commercialization. Let me invite Professor Meiboom as recipient of this award, and let me invite the Vice-Chancellor. And let me invite the Vice-Chancellor, who is here to give him the... Yes, I will certainly announce the award, Vice-Chancellor.
Maybe I need some platform so that I can...
Congratulations for all that.
I need to hold this.
And just before I say something about the award, I must say that I know, Vice-Chancellor, you were apparently asked to not say anything about the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I haven't had that instruction. So that means I can say something about the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And in recognition that this live stream is also being watched by our neighboring universities, I should say something about the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And I must say here especially that we haven't asked we haven't had the 4IR as a character in our award as a requirement for people to receive awards. But what has been very interesting is that our colleagues have in fact been active in the Fourth Industrial Revolution in various ways. And so that was very pleasing. And I think that is why you call us, Vice-Chancellor, the University of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which we, of course, accept. The next award is, oh, you want me to still announce the award? This award is 500,000 rands over a 5-year period. And once again, you have that 50% and the commitment in terms of investing part of, but 50%, but could be more as well, in terms of your research. Once again, that caveat that I announced earlier on is also applicable to this award in the unlikely event. Anyway, so I'm going to go into the next award, which is the Innovation of the Year. This is an award shared between 2 colleagues. Some of you may have noticed an earlier edition of this document, and you may have noticed that Dr. Abe Ibijola's title was doctor, but the problem with award recipients is that they are constantly evolving, and they also evolve their titles. So I will say it correctly, Professor Abe Ibijola, he was just promoted the month of October, and Dr. Marius Waite from the College of Business and Economics. The Learn as You Earn app was developed to improve the effectiveness and advancement of a successful direct selling work-integrated learning project, moving from server-based to cloud technology. So this is an interesting combination and a multidisciplinary work between computer science and marketing. Dr. Marius Waite insisted that I say that because it will help for the marketing of this product. It is his background as well. Launched in 2019, the user-friendly mobile app allows students to use their smartphones or other devices to create a profile using their student number, access the learning guide, workshop dates, and topics or opportunities, and receive notifications. Students are also able to view their sales invoice. Following the successful beta testing phase, the commercialization approach via licensing of the software has commenced. The Department of Marketing has collaborated with the Direct Selling Association of South Africa as an industry partner for a work-integrated learning project for the past 17 years. The DSA is a self-regulating association of direct selling companies that promote and protect the interests of its members, distributors, and consumers. In the DSA-UJ collaboration, students are taught the theoretical knowledge of personal selling and sales management in the classroom, and then required to sign up with one of the DSA-UJ project companies and apply this theoretical knowledge in the real world. This model has received international and national awards. Students are assessed and passed or failed depending on whether they have reached a set sales target. All the commissions from sales are for students' personal income. In addition to income generation, this project also greatly assists with the development of entrepreneurial skills. Last year, 389 students participated and generated a turnover of 3 million rands, with the total commission amounting to 750,000 rands. So that's been the impact here in terms of delivering entrepreneurs. And if I could invite our 2 colleagues, Professor Abe Ibijola and Dr. Waite, to the podium.
Sorry.
Oh, do you want us to be on the move? And the award in this case is 500,000 rands split between the two recipients, and it's also over a 5-year period. And the award is then partly used to enable the innovation to be expanded and to develop the commercialization in future. So congratulations to all of the candidates. Thank you.
I now call upon the Registrar of the University, Professor Kinta Berger, for the final award of the evening, which is Service Beyond the Normal Call of Duty.
Thanks, Dr. Menon, and good evening, colleagues and everyone. So this award is for a support staff member that really makes a significant contribution to the realization of the university's mission and vision by just doing excellent service beyond the call of duty. So it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Goodness Tule Ndimandi. Security Officer Ms. Goodness Tule Ndimandi was appointed at UJ as part of the insourcing of staff in 2016. During her tenure, Goodness, as she's commonly known, has served the UJ community with distinction at a number of posts on this campus, including Gate 1A, the Slipway 1, Protection Services, Client Services, and most recently at Moshati Heights Residence. Her warm smile, courtesy, and efficiency in dealing with students, staff, and visitors have led to her celebrity status. Everyone knows Goodness at the university. She's also committed to personal development and was part of the first group of graduates from Protection Services to complete training in client services as well as gender-based violence. Through her efforts, Goodness is changing the negative reputation that has followed security officers in recent times, and she's an inspiration to all who have the privilege of meeting or working with her. Over the years, Goodness has lived the UJ values. For students, personnel, and visitors, she's the first contact with UJ. Through her, visitors experience UJ as a friendly, caring, and trustworthy institution. With the nomination of Goodness, UJ again demonstrates that it not only inspires its community to serve humanity, but UJ also cares for and notices all the contributions that build towards these lofty ideals. And what can be more important than a friendly, helpful person at the gate? And the amount of the award is 100,000. There's no 50-50. And there's immediate.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that very celebratory note, this brings the evening to a close. I would like to request Professor Marwala, Professor Parekh, Professor Sinha, Professor Berger, and the award winners to kindly remain in the council chambers for photographs. And I would like to invite all of you to have a drink and some snacks to the right of me in the Madibeng restaurant. I'd like to thank you all for coming this evening, But I'd also like to thank all the award winners, especially for their incredible contributions. The citations make one feels extremely proud of being a UJ member. And I hope that this continues and that we will climb mountains together. So congratulations, everyone. And this brings the evening and the official proceedings to a close. Thank you very much.